You're listening to the Connect Church podcast featuring the pastoral staff of Connect Church in Tupelo, Mississippi. This podcast delivers biblical truths, hot topic discussions, and encouragement you need on your daily journey to live like Christ.
The Human Resources Department requires that I be available.
Not sure if the invite cards are nifty, but the mustache is definitely not.
He's in charge of our children. What are we doing?
I don't.
Here are your hosts, Terry Pierce, Andrew Pierce, and Tanner Stahl.
Thank you all for being here. Let's get started.
And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. What's up? It is podcast number 9009 here on the Connect Church podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Just thank you very much for being a part of the Connect Church podcast.
I went on the podcast page, whatever it is, and we have 23 5-star ratings. We want to say thank you to our audience.
That's awesome.
I've never had 23 people like me in my life.
Oh,
That's just awesome.
That is awesome. Well, we appreciate you doing that and giving the 5 stars and pushing it out there into radio podcast land on the Apple Podcast app, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever, Spotify, you can find podcasts. We're on it, I probably guarantee. Yeah.
Can you say all that again?
Yeah, probably not. No, so last week we had a lot of fun. We live streamed a video live stream of the podcast. And like I said, we're not going to do that every time. But this week, the guy who was podcasting it for us or streaming it is out of town. So here we are back on the regular the old way of doing things here on episode number 9. So
he's suffering for Christ and Disney.
He is, because, I mean, he's having to wear that mask all day or they'll kick you out of the park. That's what they'll do.
I hope the teacups break.
Yeah. But anyway, so, you know, we will plan to do that again next week, maybe, hopefully, if we can get it all together, because it was a lot of fun and we had a lot of great interaction with it. And that's what this is all about. We want to make this an avenue of sharing and interacting and just trying to reach somebody who would not listen to a sermon, give them the opportunity to hear a little bit of the gospel through a podcast.
And one day, besides the spiritual stuff, one day when we have time, I'll tell you my story of the teacups in Disney World and Shaquille O'Neal. It's a lengthy story.
Yes, we've heard it. I mean, we've heard it. Yes, many times. No. Anyway, so it was a fun podcast. So check that out. You can watch it on our Facebook page. Find it from last week, or you can just go back and listen to it on the podcast app. Check it out. That was number 8. We had a great time this weekend with our Connect Church family in the Grove. Connect in the Grove was here this weekend. That was a lot of fun, and it was a joy to have them. Now, they are family of mine, so it was even bigger joy. It's always fun to hang out with family when we've lived away from family so long. You know, it's always fun to
My most enjoyable part was knowing that you fell and broke your nose and had a bloody nose.
Oh, it was awful. So. Like I vividly remember falling down that staircase.
And you were 4.
I was 4, yes. Yeah, in a white tuxedo. So
I just got the visual of that, and it's hilarious. Sorry.
It's awesome.
Anyways, so we were glad to have them this weekend. It was awesome. Are you guys okay today? Andrew, you being a little quiet?
Yeah, I need another cup of coffee.
You need a cup? Well, go in there and make you one. There's a Keurig right over there.
I'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, so it was fun to have them here in Tupelo and not in Missouri. They're doing an awesome thing, totally Spirit-led, a God-led thing. Amen. Of just trying to find a way to be involved and be plugged in, even though they're 350 miles away, you know. So speaking of getting involved, it's a great time to get involved here at Connect Church. We got Easter coming up. We got a lot of things coming up. The nursery is just exploding with children right now. So shameless plug, if you're willing and able to volunteer for the nursery, get in touch with the church office and we can get you in touch with Ashley then, who can make that happen. That place is booming. I know you could probably use some more kids, church workers. Always some solid, reliable teachers and volunteers in the kids' church, because we just got kids growing out of our ears around here.
I watched 4 new families walk in Sunday morning, and which is awesome, but I swear they had like 8 kids apiece, and so it was awesome. It was good.
I saw it in the second service. The line to check in was just like, you would have thought it was the teacups. Yeah, there was kids after kids trying to get checked in.
And with spring break, we're like, no, there's not going to be a whole lot of families and stuff here. And I think we had like our biggest Sunday since the beginning of the year.
Right.
Kids church. Just crazy.
Had a large attendance. I thought the Walton family was, I was too old for you guys into the 70s. They had like 12 kids.
I know the Walton family.
Yeah, and they had, the Walton's on TV show.
I know. My grandpa used to sit there and watch it on the on the TV that was on the floor.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like built into the thing.
So did my grandpa.
We'd sit on the floor and watch the Waltons while he smoked his cigarette.
It was, yes.
No, that was Grandma.
No, not my grandma.
My grandma.
It was absolutely the most boring show ever, but they had 12 kids, so yeah. So.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, so we started a new sermon series this week, Philippians, the joy in the journey. And you know what, guys? We talked about it last week, and so I went and got it here. Let's see if we can do this.
This is a journey of joy.
Huh?
Yeah.
A little Karen Peck.
Karen Peck and New River, yeah.
Journey of Joy. Anyway, that's the title of our sermon series. I went and pulled that audio for you guys.
Impressive.
So thank you. Thank you. Anyway, so Journey of Joy. So give us a rundown on what you hit on about the, not who you hit on, but what you hit on.
Yeah, that was really important.
Journey of Joy.
Clarification there. Yeah, we talked, titled the sermon, Setting Yourselves for the Harbor of Joy. Go back and listen to our sermon podcast or webpage, and you can check all of those details out. But we begin with the Halloween illustration. Talked about, how the fact that we wind up in our lives living, trying to find the light, trying to find some kind of joy in our life, and the world just continually takes us down the wrong road, and it is filled with so much pain. And Paul introduces this whole subject matter by talking to the church at Philippi, and he is in a Roman prison. You could just tell the audience was really getting connected to the fact that this isn't just, a diatribe of, hey, you need to learn to be positive and we need to, get a self-help book. This guy is writing from a jail cell. We don't know exactly where, but he's been in prison for at least 2 years at this point. And so he's now writing on how to stay faithful in the church, and his message is to the congregation, hey, we want you guys, don't give up. But in the midst of that, he gives a lifestyle challenge to the church about how to be joyful.
Yeah, and you had the audience write down a quote that was really good and impactful, I thought, and most people took a picture of it with their phone. It says, "Joy is an attitude of the heart determined by confidence in God."
Yeah.
What does that mean?
And so what it's just a summary from different Bible scholars, and I put together, for all the preparation of the sermon, and it's really summarizes the text of what Paul was saying, and his argument's going to be for all 4 chapters is, hey guys, don't let your circumstances dictate the joy in your life. I'm in a jail cell. You guys are going through some adversity in the church, but hang in there. God is in a journey of carrying us to the Father's mission. So change your attitude and see the big picture, and that's where you find joy in the daily. It's, we need to write a song about keep me in the moment. But anyway, it's, and that's sort of.
I just changed the words up around a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Speaking of songs, you said you brought up the kids' song of I've got joy in my heart.
Down in my heart.
And you said there was a bunch of different verses. Do you know any of those verses? Because I didn't really hear you say them during the sermon.
That's all I know.
That's all you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there was, let's see, I've got the wonderful love of Jesus.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, those verses,
Yeah.
Do you remember what they are?
The devil sit on attack.
If the devil doesn't like it, he can sit on a tax. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that politically correct today?
I don't know. There was another one that I learned in VeggieTales. I've got the wonderful love of the blessed Redeemer way down in the depths of my heart. Way down in the depths of my heart. That was kind of the same as the first one.
I don't know that one.
The peace that passes all understanding.
You're going really old school now. There's
I know,
no way.
yeah.
Oh, I was going to say the peace that passes understanding. I feel like I've heard that one. The sit on attack. I don't know the one you just said with all the words. That was way too much.
The wonderful love of the blessed Redeemer way down in the depths of my heart. Lecrae should put that in one of his songs.
Oh, that would be classic. That would be epic. Yes.
All right. So then you went from there talking about the kids song and stuff into joy in our way of thinking, and I love the mindset of that. Like back in my 20s, I was always a stupid person usually and did dumb things, but somehow, some way, like I got this mindset change of. And honestly, I learned it from Colin Cowherd on the radio because he always talked. It's crazy. He always talked about your perspective on things is what determines how you react to certain things. And so, like that's always hit home. And when it comes to worship and when it comes to what the bad things that are happening in our life, well, what's our perspective? Is our perspective one of, well, this stinks, or is it one of, this is God is using this to show me something, our perspective and joy in our way of thinking. So joy in a perspective that way, I guess.
Yeah, I love Philippians 1:6, and it says, I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Christ. And it comes back to the whole thing we've been talking about today. It'll be a theme throughout the book. And your way of thinking's got to be, you know what? I can't let my day today, this hour, this moment, this time period of my life, this bad stuff that's happening define me. And you change your way of thinking. No, Jesus has begun a good work. Today's a bump in the road. Today's a day in the ditch. Today's, really bad. And just own it. It is really bad. But in the midst of all of that, I've got to know the big picture is that God's going to accomplish and carry me to do his mission. It's not about me being happy. It's not about me finding my place in life. It's that big mission in life. And I know Andrew has that challenge to talk to the teens, especially, but all of us need that every day of our lives. So I'll let him elaborate on that.
Yeah. One of the things that stuck out to me from the sermon was that it's not the quote that said, joy comes from confidence in God and nothing else, but also that it says it's not a fleeting emotion. It becomes a part of your character.
Yeah.
When happiness is fleeting, there will be times you're happy. There's times you're not happy. Circumstances that are good. You won the lottery, whatever.
You run out of coffee.
You run out of coffee. That's a bad circumstance.
Your dishwasher quits working.
Your dishwasher quits working. Enter 90% of what happens throughout the week. But with happiness and circumstances are ever changing. You're not always going to be happy. You're going to have good circumstances. You're going to have bad circumstances. But when you have joy, it's not just an emotion. It's not even, just the circumstances that happen to you. Like you said, Tanner, it's your perspective. It's the way you interpret things around you, and the way that you're interpreting those things around you are different because it's not confidence in anything you can do. It's not confidence in your circumstance. It's not confidence in yourself. It's confidence in God. And when you have that confidence in God, that faith, it shapes your perspective, and you cultivate a true sense of joy even when these bad circumstances, these unfortunate things happen. When you run out of coffee, when you break down on the side of the road, whatever happens and stuff, it literally changes like your entire perspective. And then my favorite quote of all was when I'm probably going to butcher this, but even talking about when you may know joy and everything else, or you may have it in your heart, but some of you need to get it up to your faces because it's never been shown on your faces. I think the whole church was like really surprised. Like that was actually really clever of Terry to say and stuff. But I love that. That, some of you guys have joy in your heart, but you need to let it come out to your faces.
It's so far deep in your heart that it can't get to your face.
Yeah, it's down there somewhere because we hadn't seen it.
Yeah, and you talked about how I tell the music team and the band, you got to at least smile at least once. Good grief,
Fake it if you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm for real with children's church. Sometimes they look at you like a knot on a log and stuff like that. But I could never do what you do, Tanner. As far as like looking at these people singing about, Jesus rose from the grave and look like they want to, kill something.
Yeah. Well, this Sunday night, even after that, this Sunday night we had our music night, and Keena's up there wailing it on Ain't No Grave, and I turn around in my choir, and they're all singing their hearts out, but a couple of them just looked like death.
Yeah.
And so my only way to counteract that was
was I one of those?
Probably.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. My only way to counteract that is to like turn and in the moment, I gave this like nasty, cheesy, Jim Carrey-esque smile.
Yes.
Like, would you just smile for what we're talking about? There ain't no grave going to hold us down,
Well, you're totally right in all of that, but I will have to say kudos to, for the most part, and it's just, I don't know why people do that, and I think sometimes the leaders, on stage, the praise team and stuff, they're probably more nervous with the audience, so I get that, and they're not trained professionals and stuff and do it all the time like we do, but I will say this, overall, I've never been in a church. Sunday night was amazing, and it was so cool the way God allowed us to just take a break from, spring break and step out of Connect Group, step out of just the intensity of ministry and have a relaxing night. You did a phenomenal job with music night and all of those that participated, but the audience was so into, we had the diversity of music, but it was really nothing about the style of music. It was about, and we didn't even plan it to be more of a serious night. So I love how our people, I got feedback all week so far from members that are just saying, man, the Spirit of God was in here. You could just enjoy it. Our folks are enjoying, so there's joy in our singing here, and it's worship, and it's not the style, and it's not that we're singing, it's the fact that we are worshiping, and God has saved us from all of this. So, man, I love it. And so you guys are all doing a good job.
So let me go back to the joy sermon real quick, and we'll wrap this up.
Joy in your heart.
Joy in our heart. Yeah, we have that, which I do have a song for that too, by the way. So, sorry, now you got me chasing a rabbit again. So during your sermon, I sent a text to Alan Rooker, and I said, man, I've got a plethora of Southern gospel songs about joy, and there's not a whole lot of contemporary songs about joy in my bank. But anyways, I won't even play it. Who cares? Anyway, so
Thank you.
Yeah. Hush.
Prayers were answered.
Well, now,
God's still working.
Now, since you brought it up, we're gonna do it. We're gonna
Terry,
do it.
unplug it. Terry, unplug the thing.
That's right. Joy's going to come in the morning. Anyways, all right. So
Now I lost my joy.
We just lost half of our listeners.
Shut up. So the last point you said was joy in our prayer life.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now explain that to me, because I'm not very good at it anyway. I mean, I'm an ordained reverend, and I have whatever, but I suck in my prayer life just like everybody else does, probably. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, my prayer life has gotten a whole lot better in the last 3 to 4 years. However, there's a lot of times where it's like, I'm doing this out of obligation, or I'm doing this because I know I'm supposed to. I'm not doing this because I have joy in it. So explain that to me.
No, it's in it. It begins with the little phrase that I used to finish out point 2 about the joy in your heart thing. And I said, you think we think we're unhappy because we don't get what we want. And, a lot of times we pray, Lord, I don't have what I want, and all those things. So we pray out of necessity, and there is no joy. You're right, Tanner. That's a very, astute thought about that. But then I made the statement, then when you get what you want, you're still unhappy. And I see this as a pastor in my own life, but I see it certainly in the congregation. And what we've got to do to counter that thing that Satan lies to us and deceives us about, that God is just a shopping cart list, that we pray just to get stuff to make us happy. And that's got to be where we change our mindset. So Paul says in verse 9, it is my prayer that your love may abound more and more with the knowledge of all the discernment. So in other words, Paul is saying, guys, the key is not asking God to give you what you want, because even when he gives you the blessings, I've just been studying in Chronicles today and this week and this morning in my office, and every time God would bless them, they would go, okay, we got it, and then they would totally forget about God. It's not the stuff that made them happy, it's the relationship with God. And so we find joy in our prayer life by the fact that we get to talk to God every day, not just asking him. And we need to approach it, a good way to think about it. For you, Tanner, everybody use your own analogy here. What would it be like if you got to talk to, who's the head coach for Arkansas basketball?
Eric Musselman.
Eric Musselman.
Musselmania.
Yeah, he used to coach in the NBA. So,
That's right. Get on the Muss bus.
Gotcha. And so how cool would it be if every morning on your famous Arkansas talk radio and basketball stuff and sports stuff, if Eric Musselman, did a podcast with Tanner, that would be like your fantasy come true.
Full disclosure, he has tweeted at me at least 3 times the last 2 weeks. So
and me and
we're kind of getting there.
And me and Andrew hear about it every week
That's right.
that happens. So because you get excited about that personal relationship. Well, just think about this, guys. Whoever your earthly hero in relationship is, think about that you get to talk to the God of the universe every day. I mean, you literally get to do a podcast, except nobody, it's just you and him. How cool is that he wants to talk to you? The most important person in the universe wants to talk to you. And so that's what we learn to fall in love with, that we get to, and the reason you want to talk to Eric Musselman is because you guys have the same interest in Arkansas basketball, and you're going to gain knowledge from him about the team and about all of that stuff, and it's going to, hit your wellhouse. That's how we need to fall in love with God. He's going to help me understand my life better, and I'm going to learn to rethink everything because I get to talk to him.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
even
That's
one
awesome.
of the practical implications of that is find some of these verses in Psalms or Hebrews and some of that stuff and start praying those attributes back to God. Yeah. So when you tell him, give thanks to the Lord for he is good and his love endures forever, when you're going through the valley of life or you're just going through a hard time, you can recall those truths because you've been praying that back to him. You've been letting him know in a relationship through prayer, just saying, God, I know you're good, even though this sucks right now. I know you're good, and I know that your love endures forever, and I know that you're for me, and that you are going to bring this all to completion, that my joy may be complete. Like, you know all these things. So we're good about, like, going to the Philippians 4, whatever is true, God, help me think on these things, and asking him to help us for we're good at, like, him asking him to help us think on these things, but it's good also to just tell him who he is. And because honestly, what it's doing is, it's like you said, Tanner, from the beginning, it's helps shapes our perspective ultimately, so we can be reminded of these truths when we're going through hard times. So that's just kind of like a really practical tool that you can do and use. Psalms, Isaiah, Hebrews, Colossians, all those are great books of the Bible. Find some of those good nuggets of truth about who the attributes of God are, and just pray that to yourself. Pray that back to him.
That's excellent, and that's why we tell you to do your Hear journals. You're never going to be able to find joy in your prayer life till you know more about him. And the reason, what Andrew just said, the more you know who he is, the more you're like, oh, this guy is so cool. I've got to hang out with him.
And then when we come back on Sunday and sing Waymaker, Miracle Worker, Promise Keeper, Light in the Darkness, my God, that is who you are. Like, I get overwhelmed singing that because even though I had a crappy week, he's a Waymaker. And I know that's true no matter how I feel or what I face this week.
Well, good. That'll wrap up this section of the podcast on next week's sermon. Terry, you want to give us a little teaser on what to expect this Sunday?
Yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal day. I was last night was doing all my research and study, and I was just blown away. This is how cool. You guys ready? You guys sitting down? Oh yeah, you are.
I'm sitting down.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so last night I was finishing up the research, and we're ordaining somebody in our staff this Sunday. And
that's this Sunday.
This Sunday, yeah.
Oh.
And so yeah.
Well, that dude better give me a call.
Yeah, well, Chris, yes, and he do. I've got that worked out for you. But we're ordaining Andrew, and so one of our team will become the inner circle of us three being ordained. So anyway, we'll ordain Andrew this, and here's the cool part: we're going to be in Philippians chapter 1, verses 9 through 18. Verses 11 through 18. And guess what it's about? It's about the ministry. How cool! All of that year planning, and the whole topic that Paul's talking about is the role of a minister, and so that's what I'll be preaching on. And so it's just going to, when God puts that together a year in advance, and that you wind up with that little paragraph on the Sunday that you're ordaining somebody, that is pretty little, that just gives you goosebumps.
That is cool. And not to, I'm going to pole vault your story, your ordination, Andrew, because I think it was yesterday or the day before on my memories was the 7-year anniversary of my ordination service.
Nice.
Yeah, it came up yesterday.
That is so wow. So there's just really big stuff happening.
I'm telling you, it's good stuff. All right, well we'll wrap that up. The sermon playback podcast. Go check that out on Apple Podcasts or on our church website. You can watch the sermon on our website on the homepage or on the media page as well. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on the Connect Church podcast.
Have you been looking for a place to call home? Need a place that makes you feel welcome and valued while at the same time growing spiritually in Christ and biblical truths? At Connect Church, our mission is all about loving God, loving people, and making disciples. When we gather together, there's a spirit of worship, a spirit of kindness, and a spirit of welcoming to anyone and everyone who's seeking God's will and truth in their lives. We invite you to visit during one of our 2 Sunday services to discover how Connect Church can help you grow in your relationship with Jesus Christ. Our friendly and spirit-filled worship environment is just the place for you. Visit Connect Church this Sunday during our 9 o'clock or 10:30 a.m. services, located at 1650 North Veterans Boulevard in Tupelo, Mississippi. Or you can check out our live stream on our Facebook page or our website at www.triconnect.church. Again, that's www.triconnect.church. We look forward to connecting with you.
And we're back on the Connect Church podcast in segment number 2. So guess what, guys?
What?
I was going to say that was your cue to say what. Guess what, guys?
Dose?
Normally I say chicken butt.
Chicken butt. So I've got us a group created on the ESPN Bracket Challenge app.
Yeah.
Okay, it's created. So
sweet.
For all you podcast listeners who enjoy March Madness, or if you don't, do it anyway.
Fighting Illini.
That's right. Get on the app, the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. Create you a free account and create a bracket. And you can choose it by whose favorite team's colors you like. I don't care. Fill out a bracket. The winner will get something when we'll announce that on the podcast or something.
They can be a guest on our podcast.
That's right. If they want to be a guest, we'll bring them in and talk about it. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is live now. Get your app, ESPN Tournament Challenge app. It's the greatest time of the year.
Absolutely.
It's
Illinois is
March
going to be
Madness.
number 1 seed. Illinois is going to be number 1 seed.
Most likely, probably. We'll see how the Big Ten tournament goes because only one can win it. And so they're going to knock each other out. And
we already did so well in the regular season. We're shoo-in.
This Wii stuff gets to me. I ain't going to lie. This thing gets to me.
He's been an Illini fan now for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
3 months.
And then also, so I've decided that next week we will unveil our own bracket on the podcast. We're going to do the best TV show of all time. Okay?
Wow.
So if you're listening, I want you to email me your submission for the greatest TV show of all time. And together we'll seed the shows. We'll have them in little brackets. I'll make up a Google Doc, and we'll send that out so people can vote, this matchup, this matchup, this matchup. You know what I'm saying? Are you following me? You look puzzled.
Yeah. No, I'm
You
just
look
thinking.
puzzled.
No, I'm already going to my.
Which ones are the greatest shows? And we'll decide if we want to take like Netflix originals or that kind of thing. So sitcoms, dramas, soap operas if you want to. I don't care. Submit them. Email them to me at tanner@triconnect.church. And in the subject line, just put podcast bracket, or you can text it. I'm going to give out my number on the Connect Church podcast text machine. That's area code 615-975-4466. Text me your favorite TV show, greatest of all time submission, and we will get this going for next week.
Happy Days in Fonzie.
All right, and then we should have this bracket wrapped up in 3 weeks, depending on how many submissions we get for the greatest TV show of all time. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be fun.
I do have a question.
What?
If I submit at the Gaither the Homecoming Gospel Hour as a submission, will you automatically put them as a 1 seed in the bracket?
No, I wouldn't do that. I don't think I would do that.
Good. At least we know you're bipartisan.
If I get a show that I've never heard of, I'll do a little research on it and see what, is this even a real TV show? Because I don't want it to be, you know what I'm saying? So we'll do that. So, and then other things going on today, guys. Did you know, according to nationalcalendarday.com, today is National Mario Day?
Yeah, March 10th.
Oh.
Because when you look at it, it looks like it spells Mario.
That's right.
March 10th. Like
Mario.
MAR.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very good. That's very astute of you. I like that. I'm glad you got on to that. So let me ask you a Mario trivia question. What is Mario's last name?
Oh.
Luigi.
No.
that was
That's his brother.
That's his brother.
Something Italian.
Well, yes, a little bit. So when I say
Spaghetti.
Oh, shut up. When I say the Mario Brothers, who do you go for? Who do you think of? The Mario Brothers. Who are they?
Mario and Luigi.
Right. So that would in turn be that Mario's last name is Mario. Mario, and Luigi Mario. The Mario Brothers. Follow it. Y'all's faces right now, like that emoji with the brain popping
my
out.
brain just blew.
That is y'all's.
Wait, his name was Mario?
Well, I don't know if that's official, but doesn't that make sense?
Oh, no, yo, I just had an epiphany. That's what I'm naming my son. I'm going to name him Pierce.
Pierce. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure Ashland Blenn's going to go for that, but it's really scary that I totally follow in Tanner's logic.
I know.
It's the Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
That's valid.
It's like saying the Pierce Brothers. Like,
wow.
who is it?
Yeah, that's valid. Wow.
Interesting.
All right, well, let's get into our best and worst of the weekend.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Wait. Which was it?
This is the worst.
All right, Terry, we'll start with you. I feel like you're excited to get into this best and the worst.
Oh, I
today.
am. And, well, I almost trumped into my new worst is Ron Swanson, yes. So I'm going to do my whole Ron Swanson impersonation, although that whole bit about Mario could be possibly my next worst. But anyway, so here's the thing. I've got all of this information. Tanner and Andrew, guess what I have in my hands? I have an envelope, and I am going to try to do Ron Swanson today. If you've ever watched Parks and Rec, he's anti-government and all those things. I have my firearm permit division.
This is your worst of the weekend, right?
This is my worst.
Okay,
is that what
worst.
I'm doing?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah. Oh, I'm on the worst, baby. I'm here. Yeah. So on Tuesday morning, I drive to New Albany, 30 miles to our wonderful DMV department and where you go in to get your renewal. All it is, Tanner, is my renewal for my firearm concealed carry permit. So I go in there, and a little girl meets me at the front door and says, "I'm sorry, sir, you can't come in here." And first of all, my Ron Swanson is in me is like, "Excuse me, Missy. First of all, I'm 4 times your age. You've got your nice little mask on.
I've got a gun.
That's gone." Yes, I really thought that, but I didn't. And so, yes. And so I'm here. And first of all, this building is paid for me by me. I own this building, your salary, because I am an American Mississippi taxpayer. Are you with me? Are you with me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm on the whole thing. And so she tells me I can't come in my building. And she tells me, and she says, "I'm sorry, sir. We no longer take walk-ins to get your renewal." I said, that says that it's going to be out of date next week. I just need to walk in here. I've got all the forms.
Website probably says it.
Website says it. Walk into the division, and all I need to do is get my new card. I've got all the forms. They're all certified. Got them all properly filled out. And she says, "We don't do that now right here. You have to mail those in, and it takes months to get all of that done."
Oh, yeah. We know how mail-in stuff goes.
Well, yeah,
right?
especially to the government.
Right, yeah.
And so all of those things. And so all that was within me is Ronald Reagan, the president of the United States outside of Abraham Lincoln greatest. And so he makes this famous statement, the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government, and I'm here to help."
That's right. Yes.
All I can think
that is so
about,
spot on.
That is dead on. And so the efficiency of government, Ron Swanson would say, is that we try to find the most, and I appreciate all you government workers that are listening. So first of all,
yeah, sure you do. Sure,
thank you for the
do.
great job that you do. But somehow customer service and the government do not go together. And so I just want to think there's got to be somebody in an office in D.C. and in Jackson, Mississippi that's going, how can we make this the most possible difficult experience for our taxpayers? And so anyway, so we appreciate you, government workers. Love you.
All right, my worst of the weekend is I'm going to just blanket it with the whole cancel culture. Blanket.
You took mine.
Oh, sorry. Anyways, well, maybe I have something that you don't have because I saw this on Twitter, and they got rid of Dr. Seuss and they got rid of all this other stuff. Who was it, Elmer Fudd they got rid of, or
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew.
Well, they got rid of him too this week. He's gone for. And I saw this wonderful tweet, and at first I thought it was sarcasm. Like I really did. I thought this is sarcastic. And as I read into it, they're dead serious with this. Okay,
stop it.
It says, okay, it's in response to the Pepe Le Pew and they cut him completely out of the new Space Jam sequel, by the way.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah, which I'm not going to watch anyway because I would like to watch it, but I'm not going to support LeBron James and all that other stuff. Anyways, in response to the Pepe Le Pew tweet, this person says, okay, I'm holding Miss Piggy accountable since we're going down this route. Excessive violence towards guests and a variety of Muppets, plus various examples of sexual harassment towards Kermit the Frog.
Oh yeah, she was all over him.
Right,
yeah,
and then somebody else, like I said, I thought it was sarcastic, but they were being dead serious. They said, I can't wait to see Miss Piggy canceled for all the physical and emotional abuse toward Kermit.
Yeah.
She's been karate chopping him since the 70s.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's just good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, imagine being that dumb.
Yeah. We all need to live in a bubble. Nobody needs to make a joke. Nobody needs to have a sense of humor. So, Tanner, your sarcasm and personality is just you're out of touch.
I'm out.
Yeah.
See ya. All right, Andrew, what's your worst?
So I'm going to go ahead and take a step on the soapbox. Tanner and Terry will tell you right now that I don't talk politics. I try to be as bipartisan as possible. I believe Jesus was not Democrat, Republican. He wasn't white. So let's get that straight. Right here
libertarian.
Yeah, he's libertarian.
If he was, I would say he'd lean mostly that way. But he was more concerned about his kingdom. That was kind of the whole reason why he got killed.
Preach.
But anyway, so I don't talk politics or anything. But man, I had somebody actually talk to us and my family about how dare we dress our daughter up for Dr. Seuss Week. It was the Places You Go, which, by the way, she was wearing a Red Hot Chili Peppers t-shirt.
You gave her a mohawk.
Yeah, we did give her a mohawk and everything else.
Did you stretch out her earlobes too? I mean, come on.
We gave her fake tats. No, I'm just kidding. We gave her a fake arm sleeve.
How dare you?
Which I'm not even gonna lie.
She's still beautiful.
Somebody sent us a link. They do have fake baby arm sleeves on Amazon.
That's good.
We didn't get that, but anyways, they seriously were. I mean, in a way, attacking us, if you will, from their perspective. They were attacking us. Air quotes emphasized
Because they felt like a victim.
Because how dare we dress our daughter up for Dr. Seuss Week on the places you'll go.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I can't. So even I saw this, and this is probably not even entirely appropriate, but I'm going to share it anyways. It's one of our.
Hang on, let me get my censor button ready.
Play the music, Tanner. Play the music.
One of our church members shared this, and I could not agree more. It says, "Goodbye, Pepe. Here's why longtime Looney Tunes character was canceled." And one of the comments underneath it said, "I'm glad he's canceled. My children are safe from Pepe Le Pew. Now my son can get back to playing Grand Theft Auto, where he set a hooker on fire that he didn't have, and he had the shooter, so he didn't have to pay for in this video game of stealing cars." Like, guys, the lunacy and the hypocrisy of canceling a cartoon character and then constantly feeding into this agenda. You got, and
Okay.
I'm ill about this stuff this morning. And again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't learn from our mistakes and there weren't insensitive things said or done, but y'all, this is absolutely asinine, and I'm done with it.
Whoa, what'd you say?
Stupid, Tanner.
All right.
Stupid.
I wonder if the Mario Brothers will get canceled. All right. Anyways,
I'm sure he was offensive to Peach or Toad or something.
Yeah. All right, Terry, what's your best of the weekend?
My best of the weekend is the fact that we are ready for March Madness. The Fighting Illini should have won the division, but we beat Michigan and destroyed them. So Brian, but anyway, so
Brian,
so it's been since like we're back all the way to '95 in the Steve Bardo era. That the last time I was really totally excited about Illinois basketball. So
what about 05?
05, but you knew that team wasn't going to win.
They were good.
They were good. They were solid. It was a good, solid team. But 95 is our sort of, our mark that for way back fans. But anyway,
what happened in '95 with the Illini? I don't remember.
We went to the Final Four and we got robbed by the refs.
Who'd you play?
I don't remember, but it was just devastating.
It had to have been UCLA.
Win. Yeah, 95. No, it was. It could have been. I don't remember. It was just we had a great team that time. It was
All right, well, piggyback off that, my best actually comes from the year 1995 as well.
Yeah.
Arkansas this week is number 8 in the AP poll.
Yeah.
So it's the first time since 95 that we've been in the top 10.
Wow.
We used to live there.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah,
okay?
definitely.
Yeah. And we were in the 95
Nolan
year,
Richardson.
That's right. 95 year, we lost to UCLA in the national championship game, and we could have repeated. But anyway, so that's awesome. We're back in the top 10. And my best, I saw this on Facebook a couple weeks ago. An old friend had shared it, and I wanted to read it to you guys here because it was hilarious. Do you know, you've got a young one at home. The nursery rhyme, This Little Piggy went to market. Mm-hmm. This little piggy stayed home. Everybody knows that nursery rhyme, right? Well, can I read to you what that means, where it came from, the origin of it?
Absolutely.
You're going to love this, I promise. Let me get a little bit of music to go with it. Hang on. All right. So this little piggy went to market. When a pig goes to market, it's not to buy something. It's to be slaughtered and sold in the meat section.
Amen.
Okay? This little piggy stayed home. Well, not all pigs are ready for market every week, so this little pig got to stay home. This little piggy had roast beef. Pigs are omnivorous, so when you fatten them up for market, you can feed them scraps off the table. You might save them some fat and some gristle from your roast beef to help them achieve their desired weight and size. Okay? So that pig had a good meal. This little piggy had none. Because before market, the pigs are not fed, so that cleaning their guts is easier facilitated. Okay? And then this little piggy cried wee, wee, wee all the way home. Some pigs are offered to market and are not sold. And whether they realize their good luck or not, they come back home alive and happy. So that's the origin. That was my best of the when I saw
Maybe
this.
we should cancel that song because it's offensive to
It is.
bacon.
It sure is. It is offensive. Like at first, I'm like, oh, I want the piggy to be slaughtered. Anyways, all right, that's my best.
I'm sorry, I did have the wrong date on that. It was 1989. It was Stephen Bardo, Kendall Gill, the Nick Anderson that was famous with Shaq that played with the Orlando Magic. They were all on that same team, and it was 1989. We were in the Final Four against Duke, and we got knocked out. So, and that was the year that Glenn Rice in Michigan and Steve Fisher's they went on to win. Remember that team? And so, but yeah, that was our glory day.
I'm glad you just missed out my entire little pig.
I know,
section,
right?
Right? Like you weren't even paying attention, and that was gold. You're gonna have to go back and listen to the podcast, sir.
I'm on it, man. I love podcasts.
All right, Andrew, what's your best of the weekend?
Well, I was just gonna say too, that actually reminded me of that episode of Friends when Phoebe sings to the little elementary school kids, and
Yes.
they're like, "Don't you know any songs about barnyard animals?" She's like, "Oh, sure." And it's like, "The cow in the meadow goes moo, and the cow in the meadow goes moo, and we hit him on the head and grind him up nice, and that's how we get hamburgers." We may or may not sing that to our child, but it's fine.
That's terrible.
Okay, so Tanner's gonna sit here and scream and run the pews, but I will say that my best of the week, maybe I just had a really crappy week, but the best of the week was probably the worship night.
You dang right it was.
It was good. It was
No,
good.
I mean, like the worship night, Tanner does a great job with this, but I have a confession. I actually had a little bit of fun listening to and singing along with the stupid Southern gospel songs. It was actually fun, man. It was fun
since you brought that up, and I skipped over it earlier, but I've got another song that we could do.
And our personal redneck Morgan Freeman, actually, the guy that does the thing in here, he actually got
Daniel,
up and sang. Daniel sang
That was
Sunday
good.
night. That
Well,
was
like I said,
epic.
I've got a ton of songs we could do for this Joy in the Journey sermon series.
All right,
Same group.
You're pushing your luck.
Anyways, I'm just saying we could pull it off.
I would just say, I just wanted to clarify, I did enjoy it. It was actually kind of fun. Alan, you, Daniel, it was actually kind of fun to get up there and sing, even listening to Tony and everybody
Tony did a
else
great
that was
job.
singing,
Yeah.
man.
Man, he did a great job.
My wife even said, she goes, I want to hear him sing Jimmy Buffett.
Yes, that would be so good. That would be so good.
My law shaker soul.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate your kind words. The band did a fantastic job.
Everybody did. It was great.
We've had a lot of questions about is it going to be posted, and we had a lot of people absent from that night because of the spring break. So we were just short in the media team. I'm working hard to get it pieced together to where it sounds acceptable.
And
I
Kina
guess.
Hernandez will be here 30 minutes prior to service to sign autographs.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, that's right.
That
Yeah,
was
she
awesome.
nailed it. She nailed it. All right, guys. You got anything else? You got where to go in Tupelo?
Man, take your stuff to Four Seasons Equipment, your lawnmower, your weed eaters, all that good stuff. Go ahead and get it de-winterized.
It's ready, yeah.
And man, Russ, the guys, will say Lynn Martin and some of those guys that work there from our church, they took one look at my lawnmower that had not been serviced in 4 years. And
Laughed.
Lynn literally said, I ain't working on this. So they still did. They were amazing. Take your stuff to Four Seasons. Get it ready for spring.
Last night I went to, we had a counseling case at 7. The guy gave me money to go to lunch, and I went to Bulldog Burger and got the Lauren fried avocado hamburger.
That's good.
That one's
Slap your
good.
mom. It is amazing
Hey.
with sweet potato fries with the caramel drizzle. Oh my! I was in heaven.
We took Alan and Lisa there Sunday for lunch,
Yeah.
and Amy was there, and Amy G said, you've got to get, she's like, I haven't tried the special yet, but everyone's getting it, so you should get it. It was a beef patty, a fried bologna, and a fried egg.
Stop
caramelized
it.
onions. It was the messiest burger I've ever had, but
Stop
it was
it.
one of the best
Oh,
ever.
I'm going right
Yes,
now.
sir.
So good.
Turn the podcast off. I'm
It
out.
was so good. My where to go is actually not in Tupelo. It's in Fulton. We took them to Guy's Place.
Yeah.
If you haven't been to Guy's Place on the water,
Jason
out there,
Beecham.
That's right. Go check
Yeah.
out Guy's Place in Fulton. It's fantastic.
Delicious gumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
the
shrimp
gumbo
and
was
grits.
amazing.
The
Yeah.
Shrimp and grits, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps up our Connect Church Podcast episode 9. We love you guys. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
Peace.